Hey everyone, so got Jack over here gonna help. So I am going to try to wash this cover. So the first thing we need to do is get this cover off. So got my tools here. Sorry, it's Saturday morning. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is top staple is not in here really tight. You can see it kind of wiggles back and forth. And what happens is, I like, of course, Rick's tools, but sometimes this groove could be maybe a little bit deeper to help hold the wiggly staples. Jack is wandering around. He'll probably knock something off here in a minute. But yeah, see how wiggled on me a little bit? And boy, and some more thin staples. Like we have that other Captain Marvel book. I'm sure is probably some kind of cost savings, when you're publishing millions of these books a month, just reduction of a little bit of, sorry, I'm looking for my tape. I think Jack knocked it off. Hold on one second. All right, found my tape. It was stuck to the bottom of Jack's foot. But yeah, I'm sure any little bit of reduction of metal in the creation of these staples, turns into a pretty big cost savings, over, like I said, publishing millions of books a month. All right, so there's our top staple, bunch of Jack hair. But really great, this tool. Just wish we had a better way to be able to get staples put back in. So hard. I was working on a book last night that was just giving me fits. The staples are all bent and everything is just terrible. Okay, and there's our top. Okay, so there we go. Everything oriented correctly. We're going to put that up out of the way. Alright, there's those interior wraps. Like I said, overall, really clean. We can see how the staples are kind of laying on top versus the side here. A little more close to the edge like we saw a little bit further in, but we do have those two tears near the center that we're going to take care of, but otherwise we're going to put this in there. All right, so now that we have this, we have a lot of black here. Let me do a little bit of a test here. Sometimes you can kind of tell how this will behave by running. Yeah, see? Kind of like we saw on the back cover. So I'm going to do something I've tried before, which is I'm going to put this in the heat press, let it cool down, and I have had some luck with not seeing as much get removed once I do that. So I'm not sure if I'm just making up stuff in my head or what, but it does seem to help in my opinion. to reduce the amount of ink loss. All right, so what we're going to do is a piece of baking sheet and a couple of pieces of board here. All right, so we're going to take a piece of baking sheet, I could have done that a little bit better. All right, we're going to put this in the heat press. If y'all have ever wondered, I set my heat press to about 175, and I do about the same for every single book, and that is 260 seconds. So 175 at 260 seconds. I usually preheat the press. With this book, with this cover being dry, I'm just going to stick it in the press, turn it on, and let it heat up to whatever it heats up to by the time it gets to the end of 260. And then we'll look at it in probably about 4 hours and see what we got. So stay tuned. All right, Conk fam. Opening the press. And let's look. So all I did is press this overnight. Of course, it's you know, I didn't do like a real press. I mean, there's still wrinkles and stuff. I didn't press it to be flat. We pressed it to see. All right, so if you can see the difference, this is before the press, how much ink came up. This is after the press. And I did the same thing. And it looks like to me less ink is coming up after the press. Let me use the clean side. Nothing. Almost nothing. So I'm not saying that this, you know, is actually doing something. I don't know, take that as you want. You know the difference. I mean, I've been doing this on the past couple of books. It's an experiment. That's all I can say. So I think we are going to try to do a quick wash on this, and yeah, we'll take a look at that. Okay, here we go. So we're going to try something a little different. We are not going to use a top piece of Holly text, and I'm trying to keep holding down on this as best as possible. Now I've seen Jerry do this, and I also talked to Phil, and he says he does this. So all right, we're going to start out with the calcium. Pour that in there. All right, we know what we're looking for. We're looking for any ink bleed, anything weird. Okay, I already see some red, so yep. Okay, so it's not much. But definitely some red. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take this out right now. Alright, and if you notice, I did lay another piece of Hollytex on top real quick, just to be able to pull it out. And then here comes Jack. No. All right. Okay. Let me get, I'm just going to cover this for a second because Jack's in here. All right, let me empty this. Before I empty it, I want to see what that look like. So it's looks a little yellowish, but I doubt it's due to any tannins. I feel like it's probably that red ink. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we saw that red ink almost immediately coming up. We also, I cut the amount of calcium hydroxide by half. Excuse me, by half. And yeah, so all right, Jack is being needy, so let me rearrange the camera and we'll start taking a little bit of assessment here. All right, we got Jack hanging out over here on the side. We're gonna see. All right. Now we're not going to be able to tell much because the Hollytex and stuff. I'm just switching out the paper towels right now. Hopefully, I don't think we lost a lot. And I've seen a lot more get lost in the videos with Dr. Paul. We'll flip this over. And doesn't look bad either. So all right, and we're going to do a kind of a short dry because we do want to reinforce that spine. That is one of the things that we want to try and do, and we want to do that while it's wet. So yeah, we will check that out here in a moment.